We'll just do this. Christina.
You don't like my move?
Hello.
We both definitely have that, like, just woke up voice going on.
Yes.
Can y'all tell it's early in the morning?
Yes, it's definitely way too early to be talking about anything on a Friday.
There we go. I thought it was Saturday. Wow, I'm losing my mind. Okay.
I almost see now. You made me double check. I was like, is it Saturday?
The weekend has just started. Well, at least for me. No worries.
Christine, do you want to tell the listeners where you are reporting from?
I'm reporting live from Florida, baby. Yeah.
Yay. So, of course, Christine is in Florida visiting her beautiful parents. Your nails are really nice.
Thank you. I fucking hate them. I can't wait to get them changed. Go on.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I'm over it. I wish I only got this color.
Mm.
And then I did the design and it was okay. And now it's just starting to get ugly. So I'm ready for a change.
I feel you. How is Florida? How's the weather? How's the people?
So I came here late last night and it was already muggy. I guess my parents are like used to the weather already because they drove us to get some crabs. Delicious, by the way. But they drove us to get some crabs and my dad like turned off the car and I was like, I literally started sweating the second you did that. Like, why? Why? It's hot. It's good.
I think it's funny when you realize your parents haven't changed, regardless of where they go, that they're still the same people.
Yeah.
Literally have not changed.
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
But yes, so Florida's good for you. I'm home in New Jersey in the horrible weather. It's actually been beautiful for the last couple of days, but it's supposed to drop to 40 degrees next week.
Oh, that's it. Well, you know what? New Jersey was like, well, we gave you a week of near 80-degree weather in November.
I hope you enjoyed it.
It was, but you know what was so strange about it? It wasn't just that it was like 80 degrees during the day or 77, 75. Yeah. Then the sun went down and it stayed hot.
Yes.
Like summertime weather.
Like the summer. Yeah.
That shit was so deep.
It was very hot and very uncomfortable because I'm ready for fall. So I've been putting on my long sleeves, my long pants, and now I'm sweating.
Exactly.
And plus, like in the fall, I feel like the sun's always in a weird place. Like it's always mad bright, mad strong in the fall.
That's the worst part. No matter what time I'm trying to drive somewhere, it always finds a way to be in my face. And I'm like,
going east, going west, going north.
I could be driving literally down and the sun would be coming up into my eyeballs. Like, what the fuck, please? Oh my God. Can we talk about the rain in New Jersey and how nobody knows how to drive in the rain? I would much prefer to drive in the snow than in the rain. Much prefer.
I don't understand. We have been humans for your entire life. You've been driving for most people about 10, 12 years. Why, when there's moisture on the road, do you decide to act like it all goes out the window?
Bro.
I've only been driving for maybe 2 years. I've only been driving for 2 years. And I'm frustrated.
Girl. It is so, because you have the people who are so scared of the rain that they don't accelerate.
Yep.
And then you have the people who pretend like the rain doesn't do anything to the road. So they speed past everybody.
Yeah.
And then you have...
And then you have the people that decide to put on their high beams when it's raining.
And it's like, nope.
I can't see, sir.
It's illuminating all the water droplets on my windshield, I can't see anything. I can't.
It is after dark. We can talk about driving. I feel like I have a lot of driving stories. For someone who's relatively new to it, I hate humans. I hate people.
Girl, I legit was driving. I was leaving work. I leave work at 9 in the morning. Well, if I'm lucky, most times 10. But I was leaving work and it was raining, and it had been raining for like 2 days at this point. And I'm leaving work and I'm getting up to a light And I'm planning to go through the light because it's green. It turns yellow as I'm still very close to the light.
Right.
The person in front of me slams on their brakes to avoid going through the yellow light.
So they'd rather cause an accident than to continue straight.
I'm like, sure. So I swore, thank God, no one was in the lane next to me. I swerved around him and I went through, and the light was still yellow.
You're looking in your rear view like, bitch, like, what
the fuck is going on? Like, if I had smashed into you because you slammed on your brakes in the rain in a yellow light, your insurance is going to pay for my car. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to make it work. I'll make it work. I'll be like, first of all, don't slam on your brakes. Second of all, you can't. There was plenty of distance between us, but it's raining.
Yes. I can't stop, and I'm in an old car. So the number one thing that literally gets me screaming and shaking my steering wheel is when people go under the speed limit. So for me, when I was, and for no reason, because I'm looking around the car, I'm like, what's wrong? What's ahead of you? Nothing. Absolutely. It's wrong.
No animal.
Move your car.
Nothing.
Why are you going? Me too. Why am I going 25 and a 40 and I'm behind you?
Girl. Literally, if you drive with me or if you're on the phone with me while I'm driving, you'll hear me say, why can't I go the speed limit? Why can't I go the speed limit? That's me yelling at the car.
That's literally me. I'm like, move your vehicle. This is why Americans die of high blood pressure, stroke, heart attack. It's the commute is definitely part of it.
Constantly stressed. I take out all my frustrations on the road. That's why I like to be a nice girl the rest of the time, because I literally I'm constantly angry when I'm driving.
Yeah, you are 100% correct. Being a passenger in your car is terrifying.
Yes.
Terrifying. And it's not because I feel endangered. I feel bad for the other person. I feel like someone's going to follow us home.
Yeah. And then I'll fight them. I'm ready to start driving around with a bat so I can start. I'm ready. You know how many fantasies I've had where I'm like, I can't wait till this motherfucker cuts me off again. 2 times and I'm ramming my car into your car. I'm ready. I will take out a bat and smash somebody's windows if they fucking traffic.
Not to interrupt you, but did you see the TikTok where the woman has the amplifier on top of the car?
No.
I want that. There has to be something more vocal and more visual and more effective when you're driving to communicate with other cars that they're being assholes. There has to be something. I be turning my high beams on cars. Like there's been a couple times that a car would be behind me with their high beams on. They overtake me. I'm going 80. You're going 95. Cool. Overtake me in the fast lane. I turn on my high beams.
You know what? I'm not mad at that. I do some asshole shit on the road, so I ain't mad at that. Everyone's looking even. This camera is fucking me up. I'm like, this is my right hand that I'm touching myself with, but clearly you see it looks like my left. Yes. So I'm looking at my face and I'm like, why does it look so weird? Okay.
It's the mirror image, the things that iPhones do. It makes you look uncanny because you don't used to seeing yourself like that.
Right? And clearly there's a slope in my head, which I didn't realize until right now. So I'm trying to avoid it. Anyway, I'm done looking at myself. But girl,
what's the most aggressive thing you've done on the road? The thing that you think someone would have followed you home or called the police on you? Because I told Sam, if someone follows me home, I'm going to call you and cry and have you come out and handle it because I'm not getting out my car.
What's the most aggressive thing I've done on the road? This was when I was younger. Somebody was pissing me off and they wouldn't move. Mm-hmm. And I knew they could move and they were just refusing to go. And I was bah, 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 on the horn. Oh, and then when I finally got around them, I sped off screaming, still bah, bah, bah.
They probably thought something was wrong with you.
I was very angry. Ooh, I was upset. Even the other day, I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you drive on the Parkway a lot. I drive on the Parkway a lot.
287 is the only place I drive.
Okay, so I'm on the Parkway a lot. And there are these random patches where there are like these beautiful purple wildflowers that are starting to grow. Mm-hmm. I've never seen them before. I've been driving on those since I moved to Old Bridge. I drive on the Parkway a lot, so I've never seen them, and I'm like, oh my god, they're so pretty. And I was like, in the right lane, so I could go slow, so I could admire them, and some asshole is still going slower than me, and I'm just like.
So now you can't even focus on the flowers.
I'm trying not to crash into you. Pull over if you want to see them, but you gotta still drive, man. I'm still going forward. You notice I'm still going forward. You gotta
and it's still the Parkway. Like people will run you over.
They will.
And leave your body with the vultures.
One time, one motherfucker wouldn't let me over to go take my exit, and I missed 2 of my exits because of this guy.
Wow.
He refused to go faster than me. I would slow down and try and get around him. He would not let me get around him.
Wait, that was one of the speed up when you tried to go and then slow down to block you?
Yeah.
For what reason?
I tried to get around him. Every time I tried to get around him. That's one of the situations where I wish I had a bat, because I would have followed him to his location and I would have smashed his car in. Yeah, that's one of those things.
Do you think there should, I know we've talked about this before, but do you think there should be more stringent with the giving of driver's licenses, or some type of like annual retest, or when you get to a certain age? I know we mentioned this before.
Definitely when you get to a certain age. I think, you know what? I think no matter what, people are going to be assholes. Sorry, repositioning, because I've been on my knees this whole time. Yeah. There's no desk. The only desk is like in my parents' room. I will not be doing this podcast in my parents' room. So, hi. So, no, I definitely think when you get old, there should be something.
Yeah.
But I think, people are going to drive the way they're going to drive. Unfortunately, we have to deal with the assholes.
Yep. Yeah, that's very true. I definitely think that whatever age science determines that your what's the word I'm looking for? Your reaction time stop, like slows, you need to be retested.
Yes. Yeah. I think it should start at like, say 65. That seems young, but I think it should start young.
The 65-year-old Republicans are not going to be for that.
I mean, these are the same people that think that somehow the government trying to make us wear masks is them trying to impose total control over us, as if they don't have a chip in our phone that watches every single place we go and watches our phone calls and our emails and our. You think if Google and Target have the technology to be able to track what you purchase so they can send you targeted advertising and coupons, that the government doesn't have something more advanced?
Yeah, no. I've watched a video of a woman.
But you're mad about a mask?
I've watched a video of a woman pulling the metal, the metal nose thing that's in the mask to keep it clipped, pulling that out and saying, look, the antenna, they're following us. This has 5G in it. Keep it away from your face.
I really wonder what life must be like what it must be like to go through life with thoughts like that in your head. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder, I would love to live a life where I'm that stupid and that the most I have to worry about is a middle piece with my fucking mask.
And getting that video on Facebook so everyone can be safe.
And knowing that half of your comments are going to be in support of what you just said because other people are that stupid.
Yes.
That shit is so funny. I love it. Unfortunately, I'm not that dumb, but.
So we are on, not to segue harshly, but we are on the other side of an election.
Woo!
We have made it. Woo! What was your election experience, Christine?
Well, it's like the ring noise. No, not the ring.
What is that from? What is that? Oh man,
the scary movie with the little boy, right?
The Grudge? No.
The Grudge. The Grudge. Yes, thank you.
Glad we got through that.
My election experience was fine. Thankfully, we live in New Jersey. The more I think about it and how much I want to travel and see different things and see the world and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
If I'm staying in America, I'm not leaving the New Jersey, New York area because damn, bitch, I know it's racist over here, but it's like violently racist in other places. The people in New Jersey still have some shame. Some, not a lot, but they have some.
So what was I about to say?
Even though there were several Trump caravans, parades, all up and down the Parkway, all up and down New Jersey.
Apparently, they shut down a part of the Parkway right before the election. Do you remember that?
No, I did hear about it.
Yeah, apparently they did that, and the governor's really mad. But the people that shut it down said, "Oh, we were trying to go to a rest area, and the police didn't let us there, so we decided to shut it all down." I was like, "You can't shut down the roads."
Literally, you can't.
You could protest as much as you want, but you cannot stop people from getting to the hospital, to work, to their kids.
No, and that's why protests need to have like papers. So you can't just do whatever you want. You can't do whatever you want, and then when we're protesting Black Lives Matter, call us like
thugs,
evil and thugs and the black version of the KKK, and say that we shouldn't be allowed to protest. But your obsession with having Trump's dick in your mouth is making you stop what people are doing. It's disgusting.
I'm annoyed, but either way, I'm happy.
My election experience was fine. Voting during COVID was very interesting.
You went in person to vote?
Yes, because I moved last year. I never changed my address, but then because my parents moved this year, there were some weird fuddling things. So now I never got a mail-in ballot because
I had the mail-in ballot. So
so I had to vote in person, and I didn't hear about any. Like, I knew other people were early voting, but I didn't hear about anybody in Jersey early voting if it wasn't a mail-in ballot.
Right. I didn't hear about anyone. Yeah, you're right.
Because I know in Florida, they had polling centers open early. So my parents voted, bless you. My parents voted I would say 3 weeks before the election.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to go in person day of.
Okay.
I had a whole bunch of tables open. And there was only 3 people allowed per table. Social distancing. You walked in there, they gave you what looked like a paper ballot. You took a pen, and then they gave you an envelope.
Did you get to keep the pen? Sorry, random question.
I kept the pen. When I go somewhere and I take a pen, I always keep it because COVID, nasty fingers. I don't know. And then I disinfect it when I go home. So I have a lot of random pens now. So yeah, you color it in. Put it in the thing, you have to seal it yourself, and then you put it right in the box day of. And they only had the clicker thing. I found out through my friend, because I was like, if they made us do the paper ballots, why did they still have the actual electronic thing?
Yeah.
People with disabilities.
Makes sense. But then why not ask the person if they need a paper ballot?
What do you mean?
They didn't ask you if you need a paper ballot, right? They just gave it to you?
No, well, they asked me questions. I can't remember what they asked me, and then they handed me the paper ballot. So if you weren't able to, hold a pen or use it like that, you would ask for the electronic one. They'd open it up for you.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Yeah, it wasn't bad here. I felt like election day lasted 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But other than that, it wasn't Justin the Light. But it wasn't that bad at all. I'm happy that, like I said, we live in the United States of New Jersey. And they legalize weed eventually in 2021. I'm so happy about that. Very happy about that.
I'm really happy about that. Besides, sorry to cut you off. Besides just the fact that regular people can smoke weed, and you don't have to go through hoops to get it legally or not, whatever, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Now that we're legalizing recreational weed, we can start working on getting the people out of these Jersey jails and prisons. Yep. And we can start working to expunge the records of people who were only caught with it, obviously they were smoking it recreationally. We can start working on. It's
such a moneymaker, though, for the government and for the state. I really wonder. I saw a page that we have to tell our senators to vote no on where the money will be going from the taxes on the legalized weed. Because as of right now, apparently it's being thought of to put the taxes into the police department.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Y'all know how I feel about the police, so I'm not very happy about that.
But you can call your senator and let them know to vote no on that. So,
okay. How is the whole country screaming to defund the police? And you're like, you know what? Take the weed money and give it back to the police.
Exactly.
Wait, the same niggas that put me in jail for this weed? What kind of weird, fucked up circle is that?
The one where the white man wins. I'm telling you, it's all orchestrated. It's all purposeful. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Now, did you hear about... Did you hear about, okay, so apparently in Utah, right?
Okay.
What'd you say? This is
state.
Important for a reason. So apparently in Utah, there was an amendment in their law that said that slavery was still legal.
I did see that. Okay. I did see that. Okay.
Utah. So now technically this is in our own constitution about, no free man shall be made a slave. So this is why they arrest people and put them in prison so they can turn them into slaves, right?
Right.
So Utah put a thing on their ballot from their personal constitution that said, from like the state's constitution, that said, we want to remove that language. We don't think anyone should be a slave. Slavery should not be used as a punishment for a crime.
Because that was still in their constitution, that you can turn someone into a slave.
That slavery can be used as a punishment for crime. Yeah.
But would that work even though the government is saying otherwise? Keep going. I hope it comes back.
Okay. Would that work? I mean, you know what? I wish I was more knowledgeable about what the federal government can say and what the state government can say and when the two can override each other. I'm not sure. Like, even when it comes to like the legal drinking age, like the legal drinking age in this country is not federal. It is state by state, but the federal government has it put into place that if the legal drinking age per state is not at 21 years old, then you won't get government funds for like, for things you need that you get government funds for. So I literally don't know.
That's crazy.
What the feds are in charge of and what the state is in charge of. But so their language had it said, if I'm not correct, please, one of our followers correct me.
Please let me know.
Their constitution says that slavery can be used as a crime for punishment.
Wow.
As a punishment for crime. Wow.
A crime for punishment.
So they put this on the thing. And can you believe? Now, obviously it passed because most people are like, yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
175,000 people voted to keep that law the same. Meaning they either didn't read the question.
Yeah.
Didn't understand the question.
I'm not giving them an excuse.
Or want slavery to be used as a crime for punishment. Oh my God, a punishment for crime. I need to go back to school. My brain doesn't work anymore. I need to read a book.
It surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me. I saw someone that said if 19 or 18, whatever happened now, like in 2020's technology, and we were able to vote on slavery, it wouldn't pass. It wouldn't like taking it away wouldn't pass. Like people would literally be like, no, I'm keeping slavery. Like today.
Wait, today? What do you mean?
Yeah, like they're saying that
today.
So the person was saying that if we put slavery on the ballot today, it was like you can be a slave for crime.
Yeah,
it would pass. It would pass completely. Like everyone would vote. Not everyone, but a ridiculous majority would vote for that.
You know what it is, though? I don't know if I can necessarily agree with that one Because one thing, in reading more about this country's history and about slavery, because the big excuse that white people and people who apologize for slavery say about it is that, oh, it was just the time. It was just the time. That's what everybody did. That's what everybody did. It was just the time. But like, no, we were getting criticized at the time, not to say these other countries, like we were getting criticized by Europe. Obviously, we know Europe is not the greatest people.
Definitely should not be the ones throwing stones.
No, but Europe, while we were still actively participating in slavery, Europe had stopped. In African slavery, Europe had stopped, right? And, you know, as we were writing our Constitution, there were a lot of critics who were like, how dare these people, these Alexander Hamiltons and these, you know, Thomas Jeffersons and whoever's, how dare they write a Constitution that talks about, you know, liberty and justice for all as they have slaves working in their fields, you know? And there were active anti-slavery white people in America. Like, no, this shouldn't be, as racist as they might be. Because I think even Abraham Lincoln said, I don't think a black man is at my level, but they shouldn't be slaves. So fuck Abe. But at the same time,
that's such a backhanded compliment. What do you mean? I don't think they're human, but they're not dogs.
Exactly.
What?
Fuck Abraham Lincoln. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit about him. But literally, it's, and I've said this before, the reason I say fuck Abe, for the people who might be like, oh, but Christine, he freed the slaves, blah, blah, blah. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves because he knew it would win him the Civil War. If Abraham Lincoln, he was trying to hold his power over the South, that whatever, I'm simplifying it. If I'm wrong, again, correct me. But based on what I read and what I learned, you know, if Abraham Lincoln could have won the war and united the states without freeing the slaves, he would have done it. 1,000%. And if that's the case, I promise you, an Emancipation Proclamation would not have been written until the 1900s.
Correct. Or which means black people revolted and killed everyone.
Now, the thing is, we tried, but they never let us get big enough. Yeah. That's why they separated the family structure. Why would you want to keep a generation of family on one plantation? So one day they could all be like, fuck you, we're all gonna kill you? No. That's why they separated the mother and the father, the husband and the wife. They separated the kids. They put this one here, they put this one there. They grabbed this one from here, they grabbed this one from there.
Told them not to read. Like literally, even when they were freed, it took a couple years for the last slave to be freed. And that's why we celebrate Juneteenth. For the people that's been listening for like, at least since June, you know that we were very happy to celebrate Juneteenth this year. 2020 was a big year for Juneteenth. Big year. I mean, yes, that was this year.
Yeah.
I was like, was that in a different world?
This year has been 3 years long. It's okay. Yeah.
But at the same time, 2 weeks short. Like it's literally so short and so long at the same time.
Time is a concept. Time doesn't exist. We are just floating in space.
But yeah, so it even took a long time for them to free. It's not like once they were free, white people were like, oh my gosh, breaking news. You have to leave. Like no one was doing that. No one was doing that. People literally crumpled up the paper, threw it away, or even gave the slave the paper, knowing that they can't read it. Like, it's ridiculous. But to bring it back around, speaking of minorities and the election, I'm pulling up some polls now. But that
was definitely a reach and grab. Speaking of minorities and the election, let's bring it back. Yes, let's keep on it.
While I'm pulling up the exit polls for minorities, let's discuss the exit polls for white women who, like I said earlier, have somehow leveled up in their evilness. In 2016, 52% of white women nationwide voted for this orange Cheeto. And somehow 4 years later, they've circled the wagons and have upped their number to 55%, despite everything that's happened.
You know what's so funny? I'm gonna say this. After Trump won last time, and there was a women's march that was mostly white women down in DC, right?
Yes.
A friend of mine who has a lot of white friends, a lot of older white friends, she said that this older white friend is like, I'm going down to the march. You should come with me. You're a woman. You're a Black woman. You should be angry. And my friend was like, skirt. She was like, I voted for Hillary.
Right.
All of the Black friends I know, even if we didn't want to, voted for Hillary. When you look at the statistics, Black women did not vote that man in. Okay?
No.
You're telling me that I need to do this and I need to do that? No. She's like, that march is not for me because I know what I did.
Right.
And the fact that most of your women voted for him and now you're turning around and looking at Black women and saying that we need to take responsibility for it is absolutely ridiculous. I will not be joining you at that women's march. Have fun. Talk to your white friends. Don't talk to me.
All right. Like, literally address your own house. Don't come here. And then meanwhile, here we go again.
I'm telling Black people we have to save the vote when we almost always vote Democrat. Yes. We are never big enough to be changing the Republican vote. Do you know what I mean?
No, but at the same time, we were. Like, shout out to Stacey Abrams. She mobilized all of Georgia for the most part and turned that bitch blue.
That's true. You're absolutely right.
Like, what?
But it's one state. And I'm not taking away from what she did. Fucking awesome. Holy shit, fucking awesome. The fact that Georgia turned blue. Never thought I'd see that in my life.
Never thought.
Look at how many states were red.
Yeah.
So stop telling Black people what we have to do because, again, who made that state turn blue? Yeah. Black people. Stop telling us what we have to do. We're already doing it.
Right.
Go on. Sorry.
Right. No, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. There's no.
And that's what it comes down to. And they say this all the time. White women, especially when it comes to these feminist movements and all this other stuff, white women, we can't always trust you.
No.
We can't always trust you because at the end of the day, you're going to vote for your skin tone over your vagina.
Correct. I don't understand how.
And I don't mean to make it so heteronormative, but that's just what it is.
No,
you're going to vote for your color over your gender. And that's why we can't trust you. Even when it came to voting. Oh, women's suffrage, 1920, or 19 whatever. This was such a great year for us. No, it wasn't, bitch. Because when they came to Susan B. Anthony, and they said, if you don't drop them niggers, okay, we're not going to let you vote. And she said, okay, deuces, we want to vote. Women's suffrage was white women's suffrage.
Correct.
Because the fact that white women were allowed to vote in this country before Native American women is fucked.
Fucked up.
Okay?
Fucked up.
They're allowed to vote before all other minority women. At the end of the day, they will go for their color over their gender. And this is why, even if I'm friends with you and you're a white woman, this is not about a personal thing. This is about a collective thing.
Yes.
We have to move around y'all with caution. Because when it comes down to it, we don't know where you're going to go.
Correct. At the end of the day, like, it really bothers me that white women, and again, just speaking in generalities, I always say that one of my best friends is a white woman. I have a Black friend, but as a whole, sorry, that tickled me. As a whole, I feel like white women present one face to the public and literally go home and cuddle their racist ass husbands, and their husbands like, you better vote red, otherwise I'm gonna slap the shit, or I'm gonna leave you, or the pressure of the home. Like, they're literally called pearl clutchers. The Good Old Boys Club was supported by the women's movement. There was a group of women that were dedicated to keeping conservative history, to literally maintaining the slave history in the South. Maintaining it. This is a group of white women that dedicate. I forget what their name is. They were a dedicated group of white women that dedicated themselves to preserving the history and making sure that the conservative and the not the Confederate ideology was taught in schools, wrote into textbooks, wrote into law. They're the reason why a lot of those statues are up in the South of all the losing generals is because of white women.
Yeah.
It's literally, I'm going to find out the name and I'll pop back and be like, it was this. But literally, they have been the support and the oil in the white man's engine for so long. And they still only see Black women as the help. They really don't see us as equals at all.
Which, I mean, again, goes back to what I said about my friend and her friend. This idea of, you need to come to this march. This is what you need to do. No, it's not, bitch. It's time for y'all taking responsibility for what y'all did. And it's funny because I think they did a show about a specific woman on Hulu. Uzo Adoba?
Yes.
Uzo Adoba was in it. She played Shirley Chisholm. There was a whole bunch of women in it. And basically it heralded this white woman. She's like a super conservative woman who was super racist and did a whole bunch of things. No, I'm going to have to find out about it. I'm going to have to, oh no. Okay. So.
I would love to like interview a racist. Like that's just something on my to-do list in my life.
Mrs. America was a story about the movement, tells the story of the movement to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment and the unexpected backlash led by a conservative woman named Phyllis Schlafly. So Phyllis Schlafly was anti-equal rights. She heralded like the conservative women's movement, whatever it was. She was racist. She was anti-woman, even though she was a woman. She was basically, a power-hungry white man's dream, right? And Hulu wrote a whole show about her. And I'm like, you know what? Quite frankly, I don't give a good goddamn about this. And I don't. And then what they were trying to, because I didn't watch the show, but I was reading reviews about it because I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. And what one person mentioned was Hulu tried to justify the life of this woman by painting her story as one who lives with a husband who doesn't give her freedoms, all the things you were just saying. Yeah. Like, so she's so it's like she wants to break out, but she can't because she has this life. And I feel like that's what feminism has sort of done. It sort of created this idea of we're the way we are because of men. And then when you really look at it, it's like, no, you're the way you are because you choose to be the way you are.
Literally because, wait, what is that? Oh, that's this. Sorry. That's this. I was confused as to what this was. It's like, what is that in my camera? But
your microphone.
Yeah. What was I about to say? Yeah, no, it's actually mind-blowing to think that in a year where your abortion rights were almost taken away in many states, they made abortion illegal. Like in many states, we were talking about that earlier this year, if not late last year, especially in Georgia, especially in Alabama, I think it was the other state. Literally had your rights taken away, and you still vote Republican.
Yeah.
And the Republicans are the ones that are in your womb.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Everyone, like how they forgot he said grab him by the pussy. I thought he was done for after that. You can't go around saying that you grab women by the pussy.
That's locker room talk. There was a nighttime comedian, like one of those late night comedy shows, right? And he sends like his like co-actors or whatever on the street to interview people. So after that came out, he sent his dude on the street to interview people about that grab him by the pussy talk. He went to a Trump rally. And everybody was like, oh, that's locker room talk. That's locker room talk. That's how boys talk. That's how boys talk. So he was like,
the problem.
Then he goes, do you have a son? Yes. Does he talk like that? Absolutely not. Do you have a husband? Yes. Does he talk like that? Absolutely not. Do you have a brother? Yes. Does he talk like that? No, no, no. And then when he was interviewing the men, have you ever spoken like that? No, no, no. So you're disgusted when it comes to anyone related to you, but the man you want to put in charge of the country, it's okay.
It makes no sense.
Locker room talk.
It makes no sense.
Shut the fuck up.
It makes absolutely no sense. None. I really just want to sit down with someone who is a bona fide racist. Maybe not sit down.
No.
But have a conversation over like this, over the internet where I'm safe. But I just literally want to talk to them about their beliefs and why they don't make any type of sense. And I'd love to have them talk to me and try to convince me that my beliefs don't make sense.
Oh, no, absolutely not. You know what it is? The issue with finding a bona fide racist in this state in any state, you're not going to find it because these people have convinced themselves that they're not racist. This is just the way to think. Right. Unfortunately, there are definitely some people out there who'll be like, I don't like X's and Y's and Z's, but that kind of person probably doesn't know how to operate a computer.
Right. So, no, they know it well enough to get onto Facebook. They know how to get to Facebook. They know how to post. They know how to repost. They know how to like and comment.
But if you send them a message, they're gonna be like, how did nigga learn how to read? Oh, I don't know. I don't know about this.
I didn't know black people were allowed on the internet.
Get Bob. How we go? Come over here.
Oh, it's not funny. Okay, so I think we berated white women. White women are different people.
No, you know what? And here, you know what? We're never gonna stop berating them. Let me tell you. It's really, for there to be major change in this country, there needs to be not only a realization of what you're doing wrong, but an acceptance of it. Yeah. What do they always say? Nobody can change if you can't admit that you need. No one can accept help if you can't admit that you need help.
100%.
So idea, who was it? Morgan Freeman that said the way to get rid of racism is to stop talking about it. Shut up, you little coon ass. Dating your granddaughter, motherfucker. Shut your ass up.
Let's not get into Morgan Freeman. Let's not. But yeah, no.
That is not the way. That is not the way.
People believe that, though. People believe, why is it always about race? You're always making this about race. It's not about race. Like, you're pulling the race card. First of all.
And they'll say that after they just called you a nigger. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. How are you talking out of both sides of your mouth at the same time, you dummy?
Yeah. No, 100%. According to
types, right?
According to, what'd you say?
According to, sorry.
Oh, no problem. I'm reading the exit polls. According to the exit polls, 57% of white people voted for Donald Trump. The reason Joe Biden won is because another 42% of white people voted for him.
Yeah.
72% of non-whites voted for Joe Biden. 58% of white men, 55% of white women voted for Donald Trump. Here's the fun part. The Republican Party has increased their percentage with black voters from 15% in 2016 to 18% of black men. How do you feel about that?
I'm not shocked.
Why?
In minorities, you will always find, besides the black Republican, if you're ultra rich, if you make over a certain amount of money, you're going to vote Republican no matter what.
So you think there was an increase in black men making a certain amount of money?
No, I think there's an increase in black men trying to prove that they're not like the rest of us so that they can be accepted by white folk. That's what I think it is.
And then you have people like Ice Cube and Lil Wayne talking about voting for Trump. And
Donald Trump, he laid out his plan for the black community for me. Donald Trump's been talking about building a wall between us and Mexico. Has that happened yet?
Nope. That's Sam saying hey.
Hi, Sam.
But no, he hasn't built that wall. I'm sure it's partially. I wonder what the status of the wall is, because last time it was checked on, it was very half-ass built.
It's just like, I just don't understand why you guys are so willing. I don't know if it's a need to be different, a need to prove yourself to. I always relate it back to whiteness because they're the ones who are like in charge. So is it a need to prove to white people that you're worth their time because you'll sit down with this super terrible person and give him a chance to talk? Donald Trump has 1,000 chances to talk. Why do you have to give him another one? What does that prove? What does that do?
What does that do for your life? For your personal life, what does voting for Donald Trump change?
And the thing is, the only person who's turned her conversations with Donald Trump into something positive was Kim Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many sentences she got commuted?
Yeah, I'll actually forever respect her for that. Even though there's so many things that I might not agree with, the fact that she has dedicated herself to changing as many lives as she can, even if it's 5 people, that ripple effect is forever.
Because what that shows is, if you talk to the right person, if you get your story out there, there's a chance that the same thing might happen for you, because we know there are plenty of people in prison who did not do the crime or may have done the crime, but Damn, does he deserve 25 years?
Or worse, couldn't afford a good attorney because they're from the hood.
Exactly.
And that's really
so to make money off this body in taxes, you decided to throw him in prison for a lot longer.
Yep. That and it's so
especially because the prison. Oh, we don't have time to talk about.
I'm about to say I literally just was like
roll it back. We'll go back to politics. Kim Kardashian is the only person that I've seen that's turned her talks with the president into something good.
Yep.
None of you have done anything but talk to him, wear a MAGA hat, and yell at the rest of us.
He met with a bunch of HBCU presidents, and I do feel like additional funding did come out of that conversation. I want to believe that they didn't all just. There's no reason for the historically Black colleges to meet with a sitting racist president. So I want to believe that they did that and got something out of it.
But then that's also, and I think that really goes back to like I said, there's a lot of Black people who are just, it kind of feels like they still have this, oh, I want to please massa.
Right.
And that comes, the more educated and the closer to whiteness they are, and I put heavy quotes around that.
Yeah.
The more educated, the more money, the farther away they are from ghetto, AAVE, Ebonics, sagging pants, the farther away they are from that and the more money they make, the more willing they are to shuck and jive for the white man.
Because just to prove that they're not them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. For the HBCUs, President Trump, never calling him that.
No. I would say the president. Trump.
one term impeached President Trump signed the Future Act. He signed the Future Act, which landed on his desk in 2019, that allocated federal funding to the HBCUs. There's very little evidence that he had anything to do with making the legislation. A lot of people claim that all he did was sign it. 2, they also received the same amount of funding under the Obama administration. Nothing changed. Not a single penny more or less.
So then why is it? And then what? And it's so crazy because every time we talk about Trump, people always relate him back to Obama. And I'm like, is it because that was the president right before him? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Because no one's saying that Obama was a perfect president. First of all, if you're in charge of this crooked ass country, you can't be perfect. Quite frankly, you can't be.
Or even ethical.
No, you can't. And instead of blaming that president for president, you have to blame that on the government of America or the idea of America itself. So that's one thing I hate. Somebody mentioned something somebody did and they go, well, who cares if Obama was Black because this is how many people were deported under his name. Yeah, and that's fucked up. We can criticize Obama and also be proud that he was the first Black president, biracial, whatever the hell you want to call him, because he got his black kids.
He's the Black president.
So it's like, whatever criticisms you have of him are valid, but we can also say that he was the first Black president of the United States and that he was fundamentally a good person.
Yes.
When you get put into a position of power, you're going to do things that are not ethical. And I don't necessarily agree with that. But until we change the culture and the climate, we can't change that fact. Do you understand what I mean? We just straight up, you can't.
No. And I also
when it just talks about who somebody is as a person.
Yes.
Donald Trump has never been a good person.
Never in his I guess that's harsh. But
since we've had a public eye of him, a public view, he hasn't been a good person. But he was tolerable because he was a celebrity.
That's the thing. He intertwined his life with Obama from the jump. When Obama was running for president, the whole birther movement and how he claimed that he's not from here. And it's just from that point on. And then when Obama won, obviously Donald Trump was very embarrassed, set his life goal on erasing everything Obama did. As soon as he got into office, people were like, so we have this policy. He said, Control F Obama.
delete.
It's just I just want to go over these last of the exit. Like I said, 80% of Black men voted for Biden. 91% of Black women voted for Biden. Clearly, Black women putting the world on their back again, putting Black men on their back again. I don't understand. 60. This percentage point is similar in these two races. So we have the Asian race, people that identify as Asian Americans, and people that identify as Latino. 61% of Latinos voted for Biden. 36% of them voted for Trump. It is very similar numbers to the Asian American community, with 63% to Biden and 31% to Trump.
Yeah.
How do you feel that the Asian and the Latino votes were won or lost?
What do you mean?
What triggered Asians and Latinos to vote Republican?
Same thing, same reason anybody else would. A, the people who have money. And then B, unfortunately, we have to talk about this sort of, I'm going to relate all of this to sort of, it's this model minority. It's this putting yourself closer to whiteness. It's this erasing the fact that you have color in you, even if I can tell that you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing for the Black community. Do you feel that? Especially when it comes to Asian Americans and the harmful, model minority trope that they that is ascribed to them.
Yeah.
Whatever, so you have to, oh, well, and then it's also anybody who is religious. Most religious people voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't make sense to me. The fact that you say, I hate abortion, so I'm going to vote for this guy who literally stole families at the border, separated them, and people went missing. Children were getting raped. The women are getting forced hysterectomies. No one can find the father.
He's been divorced. He's been divorced 3 times.
It doesn't matter because he's against abortion. So I don't care what evil things he does or supports. Because abortion, because taxes, because he says God a lot. Because he says God a lot when he talks, and I believe in God. I don't care that there should be separation of church and state. We should have God in our government.
Even though he makes
God, not that smelly brown God, and not that God.
Yes. Yep. Even though he maced protesters to go across the street and hold a Bible upside down in front of a church.
Well, they were violent. Did you see them? Did you see them holding the sign? They could have hit him with that sign. Ooh, Black people are thugs.
I am waiting to see the Jewish vote exit polls because
do we?
I wonder if there was a question like what religion you. No, there's not.
I highly doubt that. There's supposed to be a separation of church and state.
That's right. Yeah, you did just say that. But yeah, I don't.
So we're not supposed to.
I think you're 100%
I will say
in what you're saying, and that there's a model minority in other minorities, and the fact that they're just saying, at least I'm not Black.
Yeah.
At least I'm not Black, and you're proving over and over that you're not Black.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but you have to understand that they call us minorities because to push us down. If we work together, there are more of us than there are of them. And I'm not advocating for any type of race war or anything like that. But just if we have a bigger picture of oppressed versus oppressed. I know a lot of Asians and Latinos. I'll keep Latinos to the side. I know a lot of Asians don't feel like they're oppressed because they've had a better lot in life because of the model minority.
Maybe in America, but there were
people respect them a little more, like because they're so smart. Like they respect them on their work ethic.
They don't respect them.
I think white people respect Asians more than they respect Black men. Yes. I'm not saying that they're less intimidated. That might be the better word. They're less intimidated, which would lead to less policing, less abuse, things like that.
Listen, I've had people cross the street when they see me walking towards them.
100%.
Okay? So I understand there's definitely less fear when it comes to these minorities. But they may use nicer words, but the talking down to is there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
I believe it. I'm not saying they have some perfect ideology. White people suck to everyone.
Yeah.
But I think that should be the thing that unites us all. And I'm not saying united against white people, but united for change.
Absolutely. And the issue is, for us to unite with each other, we need to fix the evils within our own communities.
Correct. And that makes me sad, but I understand, like, you have to fix your own house before you can go and help anyone else.
Fix your neighbors. That's it. And that doesn't mean that you can't shout support at your neighbor.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you can't, offer a helping hand one day or two. Right. But at the end of the day, it's yeah. There are a lot of issues worldwide, but we're going to talk about America. Yes. There are a lot of issues in this country that need to be corrected.
And I think
a lot of it really comes down to it comes down to race at its core, at its base. It comes down to race. And I will say, my friend works in a very Jewish community. Is friends with a lot of Jewish people and interacts with a lot of Jewish people. And none of the people she spoke to voted for Biden.
I believe it. As someone who, I'm not going to reveal where I work, but for someone that works in a Jewish community, I completely understand. The day before the election, the mayor of this certain community's son came to a sports practice wearing a MAGA hat. Yeah. And he's 7.
Yeah.
And this is a very big Jewish community. Yeah. Very big Jewish community.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt it. And I think, again, it's because they don't want to be associated with Black people, especially with all the protests that we led, the Black Lives, because of how it's like not insidious, because of how energized we were this summer. I feel like it pushed us back in the eyes of other races.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to be that. And they don't consider that their problem. So they don't like our solution to our problem.
Yes. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And then again, most of these people, now I'm talking about anybody who voted for Trump. I'm going to clear that out because I was about to say something that might have been racist if I just said about Jewish people. A lot of people were voting for their money.
Yeah.
A lot of these people were voting for abortion.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people were voting to stay closer to whiteness.
Yeah.
Those are and what I've heard and the arguments I've heard about supporting Trump and those are the 3 main reasons people voted for Trump. Money, or voted Republican. Money, abortion, anti-Blackness.
Yeah. I 100% agree.
Including the Black people.
Yes.
One more thing. There was a woman who had an issue with one of my friend's sisters. There's a little connection there.
Yes.
And the issue started with this girl talking like she was, on Facebook, all this rah, 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 all you Black people supporting Biden, y'all coons, y'all need to be supporting Trump. Yes. And the girl commented and she was like, so with your food stamps and with you getting help from the government to send your kids to school, you're voting for Trump?
Whoop.
And it turned into a mess. Whoop. Literally, lawyers had to be contacted because the girl got angry.
Really? Because she exposed her?
Because she exposed her. Because how are you getting so much government assistance and you're voting for Trump? Who's trying to
there are people that literally like, well, Trump sent me $1,200. He got it done. The Democrats haven't sent us anything.
Because they weren't in charge, you dummy.
If the Democrats were in charge during the pandemic, you might not have even needed the $1,200. You probably would have got a couple more payments of $1,200. We don't know how it would have went, but it would have been handled better. But yeah. So yeah, another key takeaway of the election: Miss Kamala Harris, aka Olivia Pope, was elected vice president.
Black, Indian, South Asian, female.
Yes, mother.
Vice fucking president. Not what's Kellyanne, the speaking voice of Trump. Not Secretary, Treasury, not, I don't know, blah, 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 whatever. Even though those are all important titles, not taking that away. The vice fucking president, dog.
To the oldest sitting president in American history.
Joe Biden is like 96, isn't he?
He's just turned 80. He's just turned 80.
We need to stop voting these old ass geriatric fucking. We need to start getting younger presidents. I know there's an age, but the age to qualify you for president is like 36, dog.
Yes. I want to see.
It's not old.
Pete Buttigieg, Mama say, Mama sa, Mama kusa.
We need to get a book club, Melissa. We have to get our vocabulary back. What's happening?
Pete Buttigieg, Jenabedge, but Beetlejuice.
But okay, this might sound a little ignorant, but the fact that he's gay, right?
Yes.
And he has butt in his last name.
Yes, he does. President Butts. That's not funny. I'm not trying to be
ignorant. It's just
so ignorant. That's not me. But
that's the connection my brain kept making.
That was my connection back when he was running. I was like, wow, this is what's the word I'm looking for? This is what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh.
No, we have to join a book club. Why are we so dumb?
Immature wasn't even a hard word. It's too early. It's immature.
No, it's definitely immature. I'm exposing myself, y'all. That was wrong. But he does. Besides that, he has butt name. That's funny. Anyway,
Boo 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 was gonna be the youngest president if he was elected.
I didn't like him.
But I want to see like a charismatic.
But imagine if you had a gay president and then we had a first man. That'd be dope.
I don't think this sounds horrible.
He wouldn't have won.
But no. I'm living in a world that he won. This sounds horrible, but the world would not respect it.
Probably not.
The world, and
that's horrible. That sounds like you're aware of how this world operates.
I just don't like saying things like that out loud. But I just think other countries would be like, "So America's gay?"
Like what? Okay, honey. Anyway,
are the presidents? Is he a bottom or a top? He better be a top.
There would definitely be disgusting, inappropriate questions about his sex life.
Yes. But back to what I was saying, I feel like Kamala is, and this we could wrap up the politics part too. But I feel like Kamala.
Is it Kamala or Kamala? Because people are really heavy about pronouncing her name correctly.
I'll say Kamala because I feel like that's what I heard more often.
Okay.
I said Kamala because she's Indian, so I feel like.
I thought Kamala was what
was the Indian pronunciation.
Yeah, Kamala.
To be determined.
We got to figure that out.
But I feel like she's going to be president, and I say you should quote me on this. I think Joe Biden is going to die, and I think she's going to become president.
Oh my God! I'm not wishing that upon him.
Please. I'm not wishing it upon him. I'm not wishing it upon him. But I call her Olivia Pope for a reason. I feel like she has a grand plan. Like she's I don't really trust her. Like I like her. I like what she represents, but I think she is devious. And I think she has a plan for her, like a trajectory for her life that no one will stop. I feel like
if she becomes president and she's dope, I don't give a fuck.
I'm all for it. Kamala 2024.
Let's see how she is let's see if she is as vice president. Let's see what sort of project she heads. Oh, fun fact. She is, okay. So my uncle married a woman. She is my aunt, right? But she's not blood related to me. So when I say my aunt's cousin, because people get confused.
Yeah.
My aunt's cousin is childhood best friends of Kamala Harris.
Wow.
She's been doing mad interviews. Like apparently at some point she had to like live with her when she was a kid because her father was like hella abusive and stuff.
Oh, no.
So they, I don't know if they still, I think because of this, they've gotten in contact again. But she was on like MSNBC the other day. She did a report for the New York Times. She's just been getting interviewed left and right. So fun fact.
You better get that.
Preparation. I'll be like, Wanda, let me go to the White House. Next time you go. If she gets invited, I will be at the White House, y'all. Y'all gonna see me take a picture with Kamala.
I will also be there.
My father's trying to get to the inauguration. I was like, Daddy, I don't know if she got the pull like that, but we might be able to visit the White House. We might be.
I was at Barack's second inauguration.
The inauguration? The party?
His second inauguration. I was there. Not the speech. The speech he gives outside. You know, like when they swear their hand on the Bible, they have everyone outside. I was there for the second one.
My dad's trying to get in the party.
Oh no. Like he's trying to be where Beyonce was. Oh no. If you can, by all means, we will report live.
Yeah, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm going there too. But I'm just trying to get in the White House. I got 4 years. I'm gonna be like Wanda. I'm saying her name only because she was interviewed so many times. So if you look up Wanda, what's her last name? I forget. Anyway.
Wanda Kamala. I'm sure it'll pop
Wanda
up.
Kamala Harris. Something will pop up. That's my auntie cousin. We do things together sometime.
Yeah, I wish them all the best. We'll see. I think they're just like every other politician, and they're not going to deliver on the things that they said they would. So I hope they prove me wrong.
That's politics. I just want to see change. Yeah. I just don't want to see us going backwards. I want to see you as an elected official. I don't care what your position is. As an elected official, I want to see you listening to your people.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Christine, you had a story to tell us. I know you texted me about it earlier. Was it a story? I'll check my text messages. It was thoughts about how men and how there are so many things they do not have to do that women have to do.
Yeah, that was poorly formulated, but yes, that's what I texted. Oh my God, I'm not kidding. I'm going to join a book club. My brain should not be operating that way. What the fuck? Yeah, so I was at work. And me and my coworkers were talking about how I needed a weapon when I'm out alone in the dark. Mm-hmm. I think I was talking about showing up to the DMV at 4 a.m. and how I don't feel comfortable as a woman doing that. But
why?
Because the DMV is still ridiculous.
Yeah,
I got there at 6 a.m. and I was the 100th person in line.
You're going to South Plainfield?
I went to several different locations.
Wow, that's crazy.
And at 6:30, I was like, never mind, I'm going home. And then thank God, there are certain things you can make appointments for. And I was able to make an appointment for what I needed.
Good, that's good.
But yeah, so... And I talked about how I wasn't comfortable going out there at 4 a.m. and they were all like, well, you need a weapon. And they were talking about how, what do they call them? The cat ears, which is fingers in and it's spike.
First of all, they're pretty blunt. You're going to hurt someone, but you're not going to pierce them.
The ones I saw were...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, they've upgraded. Because the ones I've seen a couple years, like last year or so, were so blunt and easy to touch. I'm like, what is this?
So you got the cat ears. They were talking about you need mace or you need this. Get a little switchblade. And I'm like, yo. And then it just got me starting to think, because there's plenty of things that women, and I'm including all types of women, trans, yada, 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 have to deal with that men just straight up don't have to even think about. But isn't that one? We are so subjected to violence that I'm getting lists of all the different weapons I should have on my person.
Yeah.
To make sure that I can safely stand in a line to get a new fucking license. Like,
right. Literally.
What the
literally? It says I just pulled up some facts. Okay. 1 in 4 women, as opposed to 1 in 9 men, experience severe physical violence. 1 in 7 men have been stalked. 1 in 7 women have been stalked. 1 in 4 women have experienced attacks at their car. Women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most commonly abused by an intimate partner. Just bringing up some stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You see what I look at that and I'm just like, why is it that, and we always say this, right? Women, you need to protect yourselves. Go take a self-defense course. And, We want you to walk around with weapons on you. And when you're walking, make sure that you don't have your music up because you need to hear if somebody's behind you. If somebody's following you for a certain amount of time, take 3 right turns or take 4 right turns. If they take that 4th right turn with you, then they're definitely stalking you. If the police pull you over, don't pull over immediately if it's dark. Pull over somewhere where it's well lit so that, well, that's for everybody, but definitely for, you know what I mean? Like,
what my friends have been telling me, and my boyfriend's been telling me, when you get in your car, lock your doors. You know how many times I just get in my car and close my door? But now it's this thing where men run up on women in cars when they're sitting on their phone or getting ready to go, and they just open the door. And take the woman out. Like, that's crazy.
You know how many stories I've heard of doctors abusing women while they're under anesthesia? So now they're like, start recording yourself when you're, or have somebody who can watch the surgery, or start recording yourself, taking your phone with you, hiding your phone with you, and record what happened so you have evidence that they didn't do anything.
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
And I'm like, what kind of fucked up world? You saw that one eye? What kind of fucked up world are we living in where like that's acceptable? And on the one hand, I'm like, no, you're damn right. I should have a switchblade on me so that I can and then run away if I need to. I'm going off the hope that because I'm so big and because I'm bigger than most men, they can't just yank me up and take me.
Lucky you. I'm 5'5". It's so horrible.
I'm about to lose this weight, so I'm about to lose this weight. So we'll see about that. Well, no, all the men are still shorter than me.
I'm about to say you'll still be 6'10". I mean 6'10". You'll still be 5'10".
But it's just.
What do you think the solution is?
Things need to change. I mean, when I tell you that society needs to be destroyed and started over again, that is not an exaggeration. There needs to be complete anarchy. And that's a very scary thing to say. And when I say that to people, they're kind of like, Christine, no. But I'm like, the system is too fucked up for us to keep putting Band-Aids on it.
I 100% agree. I also think
Band-Aids on it.
I also think the responsibility lies in how we teach, how we raise our sons. Like, instead of teaching women to not get raped, how about this? Teach boys not to do things without consent.
Absolutely.
Like, how about teaching men to no means no, or don't use your words instead of your fists. Like, we should literally be teaching the boys not to rape.
Men should have emotions. Do you know how many times I've seen something and I'm like, the reason he's acting out is because no one's ever let him cry, so he just hurts everything in front of him. Like, that's some fucked up shit. That's like, dumb. You know what I mean? Like men aren't even allowed to show happiness in their thought of it being like gay. You know what I mean? It's like they have to be stoic and mean.
Yeah.
And that's what being a man is? Get the fuck out of my face.
Do you feel like it'll always be that way because men are bigger and stronger, that they'll feel that they can always take what they want?
I think as soon as we stop pretending like anything related to women is weak or wrong, or anything, including homosexuality.
Yep.
And that as a human being, you're allowed to express a nice wide range of emotions.
Yep.
And as soon as we start living a life where you don't have to, it doesn't have to be, we live in this world where there has to be someone on top and there has to be someone on the bottom. And it's like, you only think that way because you were told that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you've never seen a proper representation of equality.
Yeah. I'm sorry to keep throwing questions, but this is a really good topic. Do you think that there are things that men have, like specific things that men go through that women don't, which allows them to feel entitled, or like responsibilities that a man might have versus a woman?
Absolutely. That was one thing I was going to say. I think it's a thing I see, especially in Black communities, where it's like the idea that when it comes to raising our sons or raising our children, they're like, mothers love their sons.
Yep.
But they raise their daughters.
Yes.
And there's just, so in that, you have these men feeling entitled.
Yeah.
Because they just by existing, they're getting everything they want.
Yeah.
While women have to work for everything we get, and we still don't get that love and appreciation in return. Which then you turn around and you make fun of the woman for having mommy issues, daddy issues, whatever. She's a stripper, she's a slut, she's a whatever. It's like, because she's looking for love in all the wrong places.
But you're not calling the man a slut for literally systematically breaking down women after women after women after
destroying every single woman he's ever been with because he doesn't know how to be a goddamn adult.
Right.
No.
Right. Correct.
And that's when it comes straight up to, that's where it starts. You have to give these people both the same responsibilities, and you have to stop devaluing women's work. Was it in Iceland? I think it was in Iceland. I'm going to look this up super, super quick because I know we're running out of time.
Mm-hmm. It's all good. I have my Scorpio read, so hang tight for that.
So listen to this. In what was it? Sometime in the 70s, I believe, in Iceland, the women wanted to protest because they were being devalued, even like the stay-at-home moms are devalued, but it's like, fuck you, I'm taking care of your kid, bitch.
So and mom actually never clocks out of work. So
exactly. So in 1975 in Iceland, 90% of the women in the country went on strike. So not only did they not go to their physical work, they didn't take care of their kids, they didn't take care of their house, they didn't take care of their husband. And 90% of the women in the country went to protest, and the men were left at home fending for themselves.
That needs to happen 100%.
Almost immediately, laws started to change.
But did it become Handmaid's Tale? Did it get super restrictive?
No. Iceland is apparently a really wonderful place to go to. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, listen to this. Banks, factories, and some shops had to close, as did schools and nurseries, meaning that the fathers had no choice but to take the children to work. There were reports of men arming themselves with sweets and coloring pencils to entertain the crowds of overexcited children.
When was this? What year was it?
1975 in Iceland.
Oh my God.
and this is what I think, because I was talking to somebody else about this. It might have been you. I don't remember. I was talking to somebody else about this, where it's like, when men went off to war, women took over the country.
We easily did.
Started working. We made sure that our troops had what they needed out there. I'm talking about like World War II. We made sure that the troops had what they needed out there, and we still took care of the home, and we still made sure our children got fed and went to school and blah, blah, blah. But because of the inexperience of man, and because we've allowed them to live this life where all they have to do is go to work and come home, and they think that that's enough to be an active contributing member to society.
Yeah.
They think that they would go to war. They think that they could leave and that we would be okay.
Yeah.
If all the women in America decided one day to not do anything.
Yep. To further.
And the fact that these men then even still come home and turn around and have the audacity to beat their wife or their girlfriend, how fucking dare you?
Because their dick's small, and they feel like they're being overpowered. This is to further reiterate your point. During World War I, President Woodrow Wilson suffered a massive stroke to the point that he could not be a president. His wife ran the country acting as him. Literally, they would prop him up at the desk, half drooling, half in a state, and she would be signing his name on papers. She would be taking his calls and saying, "Oh, I'm going to go ask him, and then I'll come back to the phone." And she would just put it down for a little bit and then come back and answer the question, and actually led foreign policy, signed multiple executive orders into law, all acting as her husband. So we have already had our first female president. Woodrow Wilson suffered a massive stroke, and no one knew the better.
Yep. Come on. Like, it's just, there are a lot of issues in our society. That's really what it comes back down to. And it's just that one thing about make sure you carry a weapon on you at all times sort of triggered all these thoughts in my head where I was really just like, no matter what area, whether we're seen as weak, too strong, too sexy, too demure, too emotional, not emotional enough, stay at home with the kids, but you're not contributing anything, or go to work, but you're not a good mother. No matter what, we're fucking, we're punished for it.
Yep.
And it's just like, if y'all truly knew the value of a woman, y'all would not be treating us like this.
I think we should definitely strike, but that will never happen in the United States. Never.
No. Never. And the thing, what made it effective in Iceland was it was, again, 90% of the women in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say we can't do things, it can't even be 75%. If we were to get 80% of the people to be on the same page, we can have a movement.
Yeah.
But when anything less than 80%, we will not be successful, not successful enough.
And I also think America's response to us protesting would be stricter laws. Like, it would become Handmaid's Tale. Like, Iceland was like, oh my God, we realize we really need you guys. And then America's like, you better not do that shit again. Here's your punishment. I'll make an example out of you so that you don't tell your daughters that this is okay. Because it's not. Don't ever think that you have that power. Like,
and I think that would definitely happen if it wasn't enough of us.
Yeah.
If it was the majority of us, and it couldn't just be because it took them one day and they were like, what the hell? It would need to be weeks, months. When I say don't do nothing, that baby starts crying, he needs a bottle. I'm going to protest.
I don't know. I feel like husbands would get really mad. Like, the husbands that don't agree with it specifically would turn violent. And
those are probably the ones of the 20% who wouldn't be able to protest because listen, your safety is number one. There are too many violent men out here. And that's why, do you see why that number is so scary? Yeah. Because it's not just 20% of women who are getting beat by their partners.
Correct.
The number of women who are getting, and not just physically beat, but the number of women who are in any type of abusive relationship, and there are men in abusive relationships as well, but the number of women that are in any type of abusive relationship is a disgustingly high number.
Yeah.
For something that's supposed to be a progressive, first world, superpower country, there's a lot of fucked up, corrupt, crazy shit going on.
I just read a stat that said 1 in 4, 25% of women between 18 and 24 experience abusive relationships.
So now imagine the ones who aren't able to get out of it. Imagine the ones, I mean, there are women who are in their 70s who still have a husband who beats them. Do you know what I mean?
That raised daughters to teach them that this is what love is. And he wouldn't beat me if he didn't love me.
Exactly. The issues start, the correction of the issues start in the home.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. And they start with raising the next generation to be better than how we were. But again, it really has to come down to, it's not enough to just acknowledge it. You have to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%. It's not going to be solved in 1 or 2 generations, but we can start now.
No, of course not. But it needs to start now. It'll take me a second to take a freaking, razor blade and cut a thing across my hand.
Yeah.
And that cut is going to take a month to heal.
Right.
So imagine centuries of horse shit.
Right.
It's going to take a millennium to heal. 2 millennium.
If America's here in a millennium, it'll definitely be a very different place. But all right. So are you okay with wrapping it up with the Scorpio season?
Of course I am.
All right. Let me pull up my notes because I keep nothing up here now. I'm dead inside.
I'm just going to keep saying that.
So when I say Scorpio, what comes to mind for you? Does
any
celebrity, any trait?
I have 4 friends who were all born on the 22nd. So they were all Scorpio, Sagittarius.
That's weird.
4 separate friends.
That's weird.
Clearly, I don't like Scorpios enough to have one who's a full Scorpio. So
that's crazy. But do any traits of theirs come to mind? Do they share any traits?
They're all like emotionless.
Yep. Yeah.
Not emotionless, but it's like they have one primary emotion and that's what they go for all the time. So any other emotions they're always trying to hide, even though obviously they exist because they're human. They're all emotionless. They all like to fuck.
That is a trait. That is a trait.
I really think of.
Okay.
Emotions have sex, so they're destructive, I guess.
You're on it. That's a Scorpio. So Scorpios. So when your sun sign is in Scorpio, you tend to be very mysterious and you tend to keep things under the surface. So whatever emotion they reveal is the one that they're most comfortable with. It's the one they've been revealing for the longest amount of time. Any new, like you said, any new emotions stay put deep. There is an emphasis on the subtle and the profound, motivated by a need to create emotional closeness with others and then to experience the raw truth of that connection. So what that means, what I meant when I wrote that was that Scorpios, they get very intense. They're very intense individuals usually. They're very deep. They usually think things that are taboo. They're very friendly with the taboo in whatever aspect that is. If the taboo is being gay versus being straight, if the taboo is, I don't know, I keep thinking sexual things, but if the taboo is eating meat while the rest of their family does not eat meat, like that would be a Scorpio.
Okay.
They're just very big in like the dark arts. The Scorpios would be a Slytherin. If you think of a classic Slytherin, they would be a Scorpio. What else was I about to say? Those born with their sun in Scorpio often have much to learn about the nature of intimacy and power. Each of these symbols describes something about what motivates the Scorpio individual and what their potential in life may be. When the sun is found in Scorpio, there's a gift for penetrating to the core essence of reality and see things and others as they truly are. Scorpios can smell BS from a mile away. They're very in tune with their intuition. They feel things. They don't really have any basis in reality for their decisions. They more go with their feeling. This feels wrong. This feels right. I feel like that person's shady. They're very good with their intuition. Very good with that. And they're also good detectives. They make good CIA agents. They make good Olivia Popes, like the people that can. I've been just saying that.
People can pay you for how many times you said her name.
So they're just very good at finding out the truth, whether it's investigative, like if you have a friend that's really good at cyber stalking someone or figuring out who they are, if they have a secret girlfriend, they have Scorpio in their chart.
Okay.
For sure. What else? Let me see. Famous celebrity Scorpios. We have Drizzy Drake Rogers. He is a Scorpio. That shouldn't surprise you. That should not surprise you. Very emotional, has been claimed to be manipulative, which is a very big con of Scorpios. Very much.
I also heard he likes little girls, but
okay.
I'm just saying.
That is not a trait of Scorpios. But that might be a trait of Drake's, but that's for another conversation. We have Hillary Clinton.
Oh, wow.
Is a Scorpio.
Not shocking.
Hillary Clinton is the perfect example of the overachiever, ambitious, mysterious, and misunderstood Scorpio. While she inspires from the most positive to the most negative emotions in people, no one can deny not knowing where she personally stands. So she might portray a face of whatever people want to hear, but no one really knows who she is deeply inside. She's very big on curating the type of people that type of person that she appears to be.
Okay.
What else did I say? Loyal to the bone, she's often criticized for standing by her man despite his sexual assault scandals. But it's almost certain that even though Hillary presented a controlled and cold exterior, she felt deeply, not only by his betrayal, but the fact that their dirty laundry was being aired out in public. Scorpios are very secrective.
Yes.
They would rather no one know anything.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And they are more upset by the fact that people know their favorite color than the fact that they have one, that it was never a secret to begin with. Lastly, I'm going to go over the cons of a Scorpio. Most of the serial killers are born in November. Serial killers are Scorpios. Scorpios are serial killers. They have this weird fascination with death and rebirth and sex that is very complicated and weird.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. November Scorpios. I wrote that Scorpios revealed their reputation as dark artists, and it cast a foreboding glamour upon them. Although Scorpios treasure their privacy, the sign's notoriety gives them a magical prestige. They are often known for manipulating and seducing people to their gory deaths. So the serial killers that are born in November, they seduce their people, like Ted Bundy.
I was gonna say.
Yep. That they're known for presenting a mask. And then when they get you in a vulnerable position,
it's like they trap you.
Position. Yes, then they trap you.
Like a spider on the web.
Mm-hmm. Scorpio is represented by the pitch black of night, the dark night of the dark night of the soul that you're not sure will ever end. It rules those wounds that we suspect will never recover from unless we evolve and grow. So Scorpio, they rule the dark parts of our psyche, the parts that we're not comfortable with, the things that have happened to us that are dark. Like most often, the connection with Scorpios and sex and death often is seen, depending on where it is in your chart. I have seen that this person is often afflicted by sexual assault. Either it has happened to them, or they have done it to others, or that their sex kink is physical and violent.
Yeah.
So that I have seen that in the people whose Scorpio charts that I've read. They definitely have some weird connection with sex and death. But yes, that's what I have for Scorpio. That's my read. I hope that was succinct.
Oh, wow. Okay. So get rid of all my Scorpio friends is basically what I'm hearing you say to me. I don't really have any Scorpio friends, but
okay.
I'll get rid of all of them now.
No, I
like Scorpio, Sag. They're all on the cusp.
Yes.
So a lot of them have a lot of what you said, but then some of them I'm like, that's not true for that person.
Right. So, right. Because they are afflicted by the Sagittarius. But I personally love Scorpios. I mean, Scorpio and Aquarius get along because they're both weird. Like Aquarians are very weird to be weird, and Scorpios are not accepted in society for whatever reason. But I love Scorpios. I think they're very funny and they're very real and they're very trustworthy. I've never had a falling out with a Scorpio.
Have I? No, I don't think so. I think you're right. My falling outs tend to happen with Pisces.
Yes.
A few Aquarius. I've had a lot of up and down relationships with Aquarius.
Really? Mm-hmm. All my friends are Sagittarians. All my friends, like, not all of them, but the big three, they're all Sagittarians.
That's also like personalities, though. That's definitely personality playing. But a lot of me and other Sagittarians don't get along.
You told me that. Yeah. I think the problem's you.
Valid. I'm not a good person.
I kid. You're not the problem. You're not the terrorist in the Sagittarius situation.
Oh my God, Sagittarius. I noticed no other episode was named after a zodiac sign except for that one. Disrespectful. But whatever.
Well, alrighty. But yes, and that's all I have for Scorpio. Do you have anything else to wrap before we wrap up with Le Quote?
Le Quote? I have never. Well, guys, I'm actually. So, as you all know, I have weight loss surgery.
Yes.
I don't know if you know. I think I talked about it on the show, right?
Yes, you did. You definitely did.
Okay, so we have a set date, January 11th.
Yay!
Right.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And after talking to a few people about it, I was I won't say inspired. I was pushed to document my journey. So guys, watch out.
That's awesome. You definitely should. What?
Yeah. I'm going to be starting a YouTube documenting my pre-surgery, surgery, and post-surgery experience with, gastric bypass. So,
Oh my
because I'm
God.
very nervous, and I was told to journal my feelings. So this is how I'm going to journal it. So that's the big thing that's on my mind. Yeah, weight loss surgery and that journey I'm about to go on. So yeah.
You're doing it here in Jersey?
Yes.
Okay, very cool. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for you. I'm gonna be right by. I'm gonna try and be as much by your side as COVID will allow me. Please, if you need anything, we'll talk after the show.
We will. We will.
But okay. I have the quote to take us out of here.
Yeah.
It's a short quote, but I feel like it's something that I need to hear. So I'm gonna let you hear it.
Give it
This is a quote by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. It's very quick. The best thing one can do when it's raining is to let it rain. That's it. The best thing one can do when it's raining is to let it rain.
Damn, bitch, you're right. Sir Charles Worth Wensington Fellow is absolutely. Wow. I like that one. Y'all sit on that at home, okay, y'all?
Yeah. Let us know how you felt about that quote and let us know if it applies to your life because it's raining right now. I'm looking at my window, it's raining. So there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. When things happen to you, when hardships come that will come, you can't bemoan it. You have to let it happen. And that's the best thing you can do. The worst thing is to complain and try to stop it, especially when it's out of your control.
Sometimes just get a fucking umbrella and keep on walking. All right.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah. Ming, you can take us out.
Yes, Ming. Hit us with the music. Bye.
Oh my God. Okay. My fucking knees.
Well, you were on your knees the entire time. An hour and 43